Welcome back, everybody, to more from the Sableyes. I'm here today with Jordan. How's it going, Jordan?
Not too bad, thank you.
That is good, and we are having a look at Blastoise GX. This list has seen quite a lot of play over the last regional weekend, especially in Sydney. It didn't see any big results, but I think it was top 32.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it definitely made top 32 at least. I know I played against it in one of the final rounds of the tournament, and I ended up tying with it, so if that player had any success in their last round, I imagine that they probably made top 32 as well, so certainly a pretty tough deck to deal with when it sets up.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those good decks where it's got good typing in the format at the moment, obviously taking knockouts on those fire threats, and it's tough to knock out itself. Our main attacker is going to be Blastoise GX, 240 HP, with the ability Solid Shell means that it takes 30 less damage from each attack. It effectively has the same HP as a Reshiram Charizard, which we know is quite difficult to take out, and on top of that, it also has an attack that can very, very easily take knockouts on pretty much everything in the format.
Yeah, this is just effectively a tag team GX, but it's a stage 2. I mean, its damage output and HP is effectively the same, it's just you have to put in a little bit more work to get it into play. But when you do get it into play, it's pretty much just as good, if not better, than tag teams for the most part.
100%. So Rocket Splash is the attack we're going to be trying to use for 2 water energy. It does 60 times the amount of water energy that we have in play that we shuffle in. And we're going to be attaching that water energy by using the other Blastoise, the baby Blastoise with Powerful Squall. When we look at the top 6 cards of our deck, we can attach water energy from there. The longer the game goes, the more likely we are to hit water energy, the more powerful attacks are going to be.
And what I really like about this Blastoise, besides the fact that it's a non-GX with high HP, is the fact that it has a pretty decent attack, which is good for knocking out Hoopers or potentially swinging a prize trade into your favour with Hydro Tackle doing 150. I mean, it does kind of mitigate that high HP that you've got with 160 going down to 130, but still a good option to keep in mind for the late game.
Yeah, especially when there are lots of store decks going around in America, this might be an option to help you deal with those. We're playing a 2-2 split. The awkward thing is that our support for our attacker is coming from the same basic. We're running 4 of the Floating Shell Squirtle. When we have a Stadium in play, it has no retreat cost, so it's essentially like having 4 free retreaters as long as we get into our Brooklyn Hill.
Yeah, there's a bit of a debate as to whether you play this Squirtle or if you play the Squirtle with 70 HP. Obviously, having 70 HP is a pretty big deal overall in a format with cards like Dugong and other just basic attackers that hit pretty low numbers, but the Floating Shell ability is just so important for getting into some of the important cards turn 1 like Articuno and Vulpix.
100%. Now you might consider playing a Mew in the list. We've opted not to. Instead, we're going to play it a little bit safe and have the extra Wartortle. This Wartortle has Solid Shell as well, and in a pinch we could use Aqua Slash as an attack, but hopefully we don't see too much of it. The Pokemon that we're probably going to try and attack with early game, like you mentioned before, Jordan, is Articuno with Blizzard Veil. We've got a couple of copies of this. Cold Cyclone for 70 is a good number to be hitting in the early game. It's going to be knocking out most basics. And it also saves energy by returning it to the bench. And it protects those Squirtles so that we've got time to get into our Stage 2.
Yeah, this card would still be worth playing even if it didn't have that attack at all, I think. Just the Blizzard Veil ability on its own is enough to warrant playing this card because you really need to make sure you're getting at least 2 or potentially 3 or 4 Squirtle surviving and getting a whole bunch of different Stage 2s into play, and Blizzard Veil makes that quite reasonable to achieve.
100%. And since the other Pokemon in our deck, apart from Tapu Lele, all of the other Pokemon in our deck that we want to have out early are Water type, it's going to be a good Pokemon to protect it. We've got 2 little Alolan Vulpix with Beacon, really, really good for getting ourselves into the Pokemon that we need, whether it's a Wartortle, Blastoise, or it's a Alolan Ninetales GX. Obviously not a water type, but by the time you've used Mysterious Guidance, you're probably into your attacker anyway.
Yeah, this is obviously the main support card that we've seen from Stage 2s in recent past. There's been a little bit of a shift towards Jirachi in recent times, but we're going back to Ninetales GX in this build specifically because we want to have Articuno in the active in the early game and we don't have to switch cards to kind of make full use of Jirachi. And Ninetales searching for rare candies is a pretty good way of setting up Stage 2s, especially when we need multiple for the deck to function.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is, we've done this profile before a little earlier on when we were testing out the deck. We played a Rainbow Energy. That's still an option. It means that you could attack with Alolan Ninetales. If worse came to worse, we've opted to remove it this time. But just keep it in mind because you never know when it might come up. Our only other Pokemon that we're running is one copy of Tapu Lele. There's going to be times when we start it, but that's okay because other times we just need it to get our supporters. We want to make sure that we're as consistent as possible, and Lele is able to do that.
I feel kind of wrong playing Lele down in a deck like this, it's just because it gives your opponent a Guzma target when you've got Articuno in the active. Obviously you have to play it just to make sure your deck functions properly, but it's definitely a card that I'm very hesitant to put down when I don't need to.
Yeah, if you can avoid using it, it's probably not a bad idea to try and avoid it. Into the supporter line, we've got 4 copies of Lily. We've got 3 copies of Guzma. Pretty standard counts, as is 3 copies of Cynthia. We won't talk about those too much. We have 1 Erica's Hospitality. This could be another Cynthia if you want it to be, but obviously it's the risk-reward. Sometimes you go up against things like Zapdos Jirachi or against Zoroark, and they have big fields set up, so Erica's can give you that extra draw if you need it. But the interesting support that we run is we're going to run 2 copies of Bill's Analysis.
Yeah, Bill's Analysis is definitely a really good card for getting Stage 2 set up quickly, especially since we are needing to get so many into play for this deck to work properly. But it's also good in the mid to late game, not just for setting up Blastoises, but finding some of the tech cards that we have in this list that we'll talk about a bit later, such as Max Potion and Timeable and Rescue Stretcher, are cards that are pretty useful to be able to find on the specific turn when you need them.
100%. So let's talk about some of those. We'll start at the top here. We've got 1 copy of Energy Recycler. Obviously, our deck is designed to shuffle our energy back in, but there's going to be moments where we have to discard them, or knocked out, or retreated, or whatever it is. Energy Recycler means that in the mid to late game, we've got a better chance of having our powerful Squalls hit those energy so that Rocket Splash can do a bit more damage.
Yeah, the Energy Recycler is pretty much just a key card in any of the decks that rely on abilities to get energy out of the deck. You just want to have a higher the higher percentage of energy in your deck, the more powerful your Blastoise ability is, and therefore the more damage you're going to be dealing.
100%. And we've got the old art card here because Jordan built the list and he's a madman.
It looks cool.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna live or die by it. The same thing for the Max Potion. It's an old art of Max Potion. A good card in this list because obviously Blastoise GX is so tanky. If your opponent is struggling, hitting into the Blastoise over and over and over, and then that Max Potion comes down and more attacks come out of it, it's going to be a real struggle to deal with.
I've said many times that Max Potion is best in decks that can either attack for 1 energy or can accelerate a whole bunch of energy in 1 turn, so you can really take advantage of going from no energy to a big attack right away. And this is a perfect example of one of those decks that can do that, because you can just shuffle all your energy away, take a hit, you'll hopefully survive due to the ability, minus 30 damage, and then Max Potion that damage away and keep on attacking thanks to your other Blastoise's ability.
Yeah, and there's not many decks that could reliably say that they're going to be able to heal off 200 damage and then hit for 240, which Blastoise GX can do quite easily. So, good card in this particular deck. We also run 2 copies of Nest Ball and 4 Ultra Balls as kind of our basic ball search. Lots of the time we're going to be needing the Ultra Ball for our big boys, Blastoise GX, etc. But we also have the option to flip some coins if we're desperate with Timeable. Jordan and I love Timeable. It's the best card in the game. Flipping coins is good fun. But hey, if you flip 2 tails, it's not the end of the world. We've still got other options.
It is. But the main thing that makes Timeable so good is just the synergy with Ninetales GX. When you're using your ability on the second turn, you'll often want to just get Timeable and Rare Candy because you're not always going to have the luxury of being able to use Ultra Ball. Getting Timeable might not always work out, but it just gives you that really easy, consistent way to get a Blastoise turn 2.
And 75% of the time you'll get at least 1, so it should be fine. What's the worst that could happen? We also run, obviously, 4 copies of Rare Candy. We've got to use those to get into our attackers and our support. We've got 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher. Since we're kind of a little bit reliant on Squirtles, if we get some of them knocked out early, we need to bring them back. So Rescue Stretcher is a pretty good option to do that. And finally, we have 3 copies of Brooklet Hill. Brooklet Hill is excellent search. It's the reason that we don't run extra Nest Balls.
And the added benefit of having such good synergy with the Squirtle's ability, giving it free retreat, it's just pretty much the card you're always going to want to see on the first turn of the game, which is why there's a good argument for upping the count to 4, but even with 3, you're going to find it when you need it most of the time, and it's enough to win a Stadium War somewhat reliably.
Yeah, and as long as you get one down early, you should be relatively fine to get yourself set up. Finally, we've got 13 water energy. I love looking to see how many energy I actually have. Like,
it's quite a few.
I have almost 300. Maybe one day we'll get to 300 of that type of energy. But anyway, 13 energy. And that's a pretty solid list. There's obviously little changes that you could make around the place, but it's a good starting point, and it does have some quite good matchups against the rest of the field. We'll see how it goes on PTCGO. Straight into a game, which is good. These colours are concerning.
Well, yeah, just starting to think about its matchups now. It's actually got pretty good matchups against almost all the top decks, because Zapdos Jirachi is going to really struggle if they can't take out those little Squirtles in the beginning of the game due to Articuno. Reshizard, I imagine, is going to have a bad time against all these water Pokemon.
You would think so.
And then Zoroark doesn't have a great trade against it. It's a fairly even matchup. So all of a sudden, you look at the top decks, and Blastoise has pretty good matchups against pretty much all of them.
Yeah, and if you open hands like this, you'd be loving life, because, I mean, we've got ourselves 2 basics. We've got an Articuno to come down with the Brooklet Hill, and yeah, we can retreat for free. But we are playing Lost March, so...
Yeah, we were just talking about what would be usually a meta full of fairly decent matchups of Blastoise. Lost March is not one of those good matchups.
No, and this is the type of matchup where maybe the Rainbow Energy would have been a good option, so that we could have hit for 70 and 30. But that's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, another card that's worth considering in some cases could be Weakness Policy if your meta is full of decks such as Lost March, or more reliably, cards like Katana in Zapdos is probably one of the only ways that deck actually is going to set up an easy knockout on Blastoise, but I don't think that I'm feeling too confident in this match.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. You see, Articuno is weak to Metal, so it's fine. We're just going to do this, and we're just going to let it... Well, to Lightning, sorry, not Metal. And we're gonna leave it there.
Key point is it's not weak to grass.
It's not weak to grass. It's gonna be fine.
So just thinking about what the game plan could be for this matchup.
Hold me.
I was just thinking, as I was mentioning before, the non-GX Blastoise is a good attacker against these non-GX prize trading decks. I don't think it's going to be enough to kind of swing a Lost March matchup, but it's certainly an option to consider if we are able to get a good enough start.
Look at this. Look at what they're doing. We're going to get destroyed. Oh my goodness.
Well, at least they open Let Loose Marshadow, so maybe they're going to have some trouble getting out of the active. A bit of a slow start.
We can only hope.
Articuno is going to be able to take at least a couple, hopefully, quick knockouts before it's knocked out. Maybe they'll miss energy for a couple turns. I know we're asking for a lot here, but it's quite possible.
It's doable. We can do it. I don't know what we're going to do, but it can be done.
We just need them to miss, well, that card.
That would... Yeah, that's good. That's cool. Alright, no. So, what are we going to do? I reckon we probably attach. I'm panicking.
Well, I'd say you can use Articuno to move the energy to a benched Articuno and kind of chain Articunos for a little bit. It is enough to knock out pretty much every Pokemon in that deck.
Do you know what I reckon would be good though? I reckon if we play down Tapu Lele and just knock this jump bluff out, force them to find an energy, remove an attacker from the field.
Is there a way to knock out the jump off though?
Yeah, we can Lele, Guzma, retreat with the Squirtle.
Yeah. That's
do you want to do that? Let's do that. I'm going to do this. Because, I mean, we're going to lose, so...
May as well go hard.
Yeah, we may as well lose now, rather than later.
We've got the Brooklet in hand so that we can start chaining Articunos by using the ability to transfer to the next attacker, so we're all ready to go.
I'm going to make sure that we have our supporter down, our stadium down, sorry. We're going to put another Articuno on the field. And then we'll retreat this fellow back here. Is it worth playing down the Ninetales now? Probably not. We'll just Cold Cyclone and move those energy down.
Oh, what I was just thinking is, we've got 2 Articunos, so they're going to take at least 2 prizes. And then we've got 2 stretches with Ninetales GX available. We can probably chain Articuno attacking at least 4 turns in a row. 4 Articunos trading with 4 jump offs. It seems like a pretty good trade to me.
Yeah, but they have 7 Pokemon and we've just given them a fat hand for an Ericus, so...
I would be feeling a lot more confident if we didn't have the Lele on the bench, but at the same time, I feel like we really just have to take advantage of the early game here and put as much pressure on as possible.
I think so too. They are going ham for Pokemon in the Lost Zone.
They're certainly not having any problems with consistency in this game, but I honestly feel like these Articunos are going to trade very comfortably with Lost March for the most part, and assuming we don't prize a whole bunch of rescue stretches, I think we can run them out of jump offs very quickly, and if we run them out of jump offs before we go into Blastoise...
They missed! Alright, we're away. Okay, so we now need a rare candy and a ball search card.
Do we? I feel like we could even just...
Or do we just Guzma kill that one
yeah.
there? Just do that and do nothing else?
I mean, that seems fine to me.
Alright, that's fine.
Probably attach an energy somewhere, potentially.
Does this say move 2? Alright, cool. So do we attach one here, or do we attach one like where?
Can we attach it to a Squirtle maybe, set up for a non-GX Blastoise later in the game?
Go on. Let's do that. That seems fine. Giddy up, boys.
I feel like
we're away.
We'd have to be very lucky for them to miss the knockout in this Articuno a second time.
A third time, you mean?
Well, the first time they...
the first time they had to attach to the bench, and then they would have needed a Guzma, which they can't do, so fair enough.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this game's very winnable now. I mean, we're already 2 prizes up, and I was just saying, we can probably trade 4 prizes 1-for-1 with them.
Well,
We've only got 4 prizes left.
They just played Professor Realm, which means that they're not drawing an energy, so they have to have top-decked one.
Oh, you don't believe in them, Mitch. That's an energy.
There it is. There's the energy. Alright. But that's fine, because we can just knock this one out with Articuno as well.
We can. We just need to make sure we've got access to Rescue Stretcher somewhat reliably. I mean, obviously we can Ninetales for it, but that would be good to avoid that if we could.
So
do you think maybe it's worth going for Bills here and just seeing if we can stack into a Stretcher?
We could luck into it. Let's go for it. Oh,
yeah,
there
look,
it is.
Stretcher.
And we can also grab ourselves a... I don't know if I want the Lily, whether the Lily's good enough here. Maybe we just
seems that useful.
Maybe we just grab this Recycler. I mean, we can shuffle it away with a Cynthia soon. So we'll just use that there Stretcher. We will put a Pokemon from the discard pile into our hand. We'll grab another Articuno. Here we go. We're doing trades. Where am I going to put energy? Probably down here on this little Squirtle. That seems
fine.
fair. And then boop boop.
I was not expecting to be in a position where I feel like we're in a very good chance to win after a couple turns into this matchup.
Well, they could still easily just Guzma kill the Lele, but even if they do...
We're still even.
Yeah, it's even, so...
Oh, here we go. Here's
let
a let
loose. We're in trouble now. So, the deck's not designed to deal with this. We don't want to be shuffling our hand in, that's bad.
I mean,
but we're finally got Stretcher, it's fine! Don't worry about it.
The fact that we left the Vulpix on the bench without needing to evolve Ninetales means that that's a search out that we can get at any time realistically to get ourselves out of a bad hand.
That's true. So at the moment we're sitting in a position where we are kind of... we're going to keep trading, and as long as we keep attacking, we'll be fine.
To be honest, we might have just been let loose into the game-winning hand, because if you think about it, we're going to take a prize this turn, and the Stretcher's going to allow us to take a prize next turn as well. Then all we need is an Ultra Ball to set up a Rare Candy Blastoise, and we're going to be able to take the last prize.
Yeah, 100%. So let's put a Articuno back into our hand. We'll chuck that down onto the field.
As long as nothing crazy happens here and we don't put another GX down until we need it, I think we might have the game-winning hand.
I think you might be right. If we attach to this Squirtle, we can just save ourselves some hassle as well. What do you reckon? Attach there?
You could attach it to the other Squirtle.
We'll just put it here?
You can always just get the GX anyway, so I think it's fine regardless.
Just put it there, and then we'll Cold Cyclone again.
All we need to do is make sure we leave ourselves with enough cards to Ultra Ball away, and I think we've pretty much got the game locked up.
And we've got the Rare Candy in hand, so now we don't even need to search. Alright, this has worked out really, really well.
This has worked out really well.
I'm super stoked. I was not expecting that.
So if you want to beat Lost March, your deck of choice should be Blastoise GX.
Yeah, and you just don't play any of them down, and you just attack with Articuno forever.
Can you imagine how favourable this matchup would be if we played a third Articuno? It would just be insane.
It would be stupid, like we'd never lose.
I mean, it certainly helps that they missed a turn, but let's think about it.
Forget it.
Even if they didn't miss then, they'd still only be on 3 prizes right now. We'd still be in a good chance to win.
Yeah, we'd have a shot. We're doing alright. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Like, I feel like we're definitely favoured to win from here.
Yeah. Well, and how many people could say that they are in a favourable position when Lost March has that many Pokemon in the bin?
It's quite a lot.
It is quite a lot. And I reckon do we just sit on this hand?
Is it worth? I feel like it might be worth
do we
just playing the Ultra Ball and getting the
Blastoise now.
Blastoise into play. They can't Guzma it
Yep,
while
that's
the
true.
Articuno's inactive, so we should be pretty safe to just set it up right now.
Yep, just put it in there and
Probably the non-GX one would be the one I would favour.
for no other reason than it's non-GX.
Pretty much.
We could Rocket Splash for 1,000,000 damage.
Either one's fine, honestly. I think both of them win the game for us. Rare Candy into Blastoise, we can charge it up with the attachment in hand or the Articuno. In fact, I would probably rather keep the energy in hand just in case.
Just in
they
case
try
something
and
goes horribly
Guzma
wrong.
the Lele and stored active or something.
Yeah, good point. So what we'll do is we'll
Just,
hit that with the jump off. We'll put these 2 energy on this Blastoise here,
yep.
and we'll take a prize. And up
There
there
it
we go.
is.
It
We
concedes.
got the victory against Lost March.
Who would have thought that attacking every turn is the key to victory? What we'll do, we've only been going for about 20 minutes. We'll play one more.
Yeah, it turns out that when you attack with non-EX 6 times in a row against Lost March, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, tell you what, it was easy, and they took knockouts as soon as they started attacking as well.
I also just noticed that I spelled Stoice wrong, but that's fine.
It's fine. No one will notice. It's not like there'll be 20 comments being like, "You guys are idiots! You spelled Stoice wrong."
Stoice isn't even a word. There's no correct spelling for it.
Just don't worry about the correct grammatical spelling of Stoice. Alright, these colours again. I don't know what those colours are, man.
This can't be another Lost March, right?
I'd
There's
be-
no way.
If we're doing it twice, at least we've got a strategy. If we do.
Yeah, we actually know what we're doing this time.
Yep, and we get to go first, which means we get to set it up. So
Which means they get to take a prize on turn 1 instead of turn 2.
look at this hand. What is up?
This is even better than last game.
What is up with this hand? Alright.
I almost want this to be Lost March now. Come at me.
Yeah, we're ready. We're going to beat the crap out of you. What? It's Charger Bug? Alright,
Oh my
okay,
God.
this is terrifying now. What do we do against Charger Bug? I guess they,
Well, we're not weak to lightning,
that's true.
so that's
That's
good.
a positive. I'm going to take 3 mulligans.
Why not? It's probably Alice's list of 6 basic Pokemon.
Yep, exactly.
She's even. No, they've even got the 60 HP Grubbin.
60
What
HP
if it's
Grubbin?
just
Here we
actually
go.
Alice? This could
What
actually just
if
be
we're
Alice.
playing against Alice? I don't think we are.
It's probably
but,
not Alice.
but that's okay. I'm thinking we like Ultra Ball away the Erica and another Ultra Ball, get down Articuno Lily.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's do that.
Or even if you wanted it. Nah, I guess we've got the time ball to get Blastoise anyway,
Yeah,
so
we're gamblers.
it doesn't seem necessary there. Articuno seems like a fine play.
Both of our dudes are in there.
Even Vulpix isn't a bad option here.
We've got 2 Rare Candy in hand, so that's not a problem. I don't even know what we've got prized.
Don't worry about
It's
it.
fine. We're fine, man.
That's a problem for us in the future.
Yeah, that's future Mitch and Jordan's problem. Alright, Lily, away we go. Draw a bunch of cards. Didn't get the stadium, which is disappointing, but
Yeah, no stadium, no energy, but at the same time, who
We've
cares?
got-
What are they
we've
going
got
to do? Turn 1.
They're gonna maybe use their first attack to find some Pokemon.
Yeah, I think the Squirtle's feeling pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what's that Groblin's second attack? Is that something to be scared of? It looks like it costs 3 energy, so I would say not.
3 energy is it's gonna be way too much. The most that they can possibly attach is 2, because Charge Bug doesn't actually work in Grubbin. It only works on Vikavolt. So we are in absolutely no stress.
We've got the potentially double rare candy. Yep, that is Wartortle as well.
Okay,
We get
so
at least 1 heads off of Timer Ball, we can get double Blastoise. And there
Alright.
it is. And we had
So-
the Ultra Ball even if it was taken.
yeah,
so
so
it's
we
fine
are
regardless.
going for both. So we are going to a Rare Candy into this Blastoise. Then this one up here is going to be our GX.
And this time we're actually playing the Blastoise deck with Blastoise.
I know, it's wild.
How exciting.
What a strange and fortuitous situation, and we get to evolve one of these Squirtles into a Wartortle as well.
And then we can grab some
And
more
then
cards.
we'll Lily. That seems fine. We've got an energy.
Just need to hit one off of the Blastoise.
all we need to do is hit one.
Have a
Powerful
look.
Squall.
Hey!
Oh, we missed it! Oh no!
What do you know?
But hey, do you know what the best thing is?
We can actually use
just do it
Ninetales,
again. We can just
and-
do it
yeah.
again, so it's fine.
I think that's a decent play.
Yeah, let's just go for it again.
I can't remember if the Blastoise was prized. Did you check for the Blastoise?
Both Blastoise are there, so we've got
Alright.
another one. What do we need? What do we want to get? Got a Rare Candy, maybe.
Max Potion's not a bad thing to hold on to, I guess.
I reckon that's probably a pretty good card that we can pick
From
out.
memory, Vikavolt caps at 250 damage with choice band, so with the ability, they're not going to be able to take the knockout on Blastoise in one
Something
hit.
like that. And I'm kind of like, do we get rid of the Cynthia or the Rescue Stretcher?
Probably Rescue Stretcher.
Yeah, I feel like that probably is the way to
Even the
go
Max
as well.
Potion's not a bad idea. to
Well,
be
yeah, we
honest.
could chuck that away. What we really should have done is we should have got something that we don't need, like a Nest Ball, just so we could have thrown it away. But that's okay. We'll go for
That's
another
fine.
Blastoise.
What are the chances that we're going to miss twice in a row?
Very high. We got them.
We got 3.
Look at that.
That
Sweet.
seems fine.
So we'll put one there. We'll put one down here. We'll put one over here.
You're acting like it matters where you're putting them. You just shuffle them back in anyway.
Well, I mean, I only need to discard. I only need to shuffle in one, so I feel
true.
like I should just spread them out.
Makes sense to me.
Right, and so we'll just go like this, and then I'll just rocket splash and shuffle in one. I might even shuffle in both, just in case. Nah, just one. That's fine.
I think it's fine.
They're not
What
going
are
to
you
do
worried
270 to me. It's going to be fine.
That build is literally just a lone grubbin.
It's one grub.
I mean, it's pretty scary.
Oh, it's
but
terrifying. I'm probably going to get killed by it. But we've got the water energy off the prize. We've got 2 Blastoise in play. This is looking like a pretty unassailable situation. And they failed the timer ball, so...
Might be game over.
That's GG time.
If I remember correctly, the non-EX Vikavolt does have 150 HP as well, so we can trade it evenly with Vikavolt just using the regular Blastoise.
That's possibly
And we have
true.
a disposable Blastoise in play now, and we only really need 1, and we got 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, this deck's set up perfectly. We don't really need to do anything now. We just...
Why didn't we play this deck at Sydney Regionals?
I don't know,
That's
man.
the real question.
Well, it works. It works great. Here's the Vikavolt you were talking about with Electro Cannon. It can do 220, but that's not enough.
It's not. They'll need quite a few Electro Powers to pull it off, but
Yeah.
it is possible.
They could do it. They could very easily do it. They've got the Charger Bug. They need another Charger Bug and a couple of Electro Power off of this Cynthia, because
I
they'll be
believe they
doing...
need 3 more multipliers. They need band double E power or triple E power.
Well, they're doing 220, and they didn't get them. So
They
there
did
we
not
go.
get them.
Best deck in format.
100%.
Best deck in format. Beautiful. Fantastic. Thanks, everyone, for coming along. We won't go for another one, because otherwise we'll be here for an hour or however long it is. We've been fortunate to get a short couple of games, so we'll move on. Thanks, Jordan, for being with us.
Not a problem.
And thanks, everyone, for watching. As I grab up the list for you all one last time, if you like the content, then please click the little sable eye in the middle of the screen to subscribe. On the left-hand side is a video that YouTube thinks that you'll like, and on the right is our Unbroken Bonds playlist. Thanks everyone for coming along, and we'll see you all next time for more from the Sable Eyes. Bye.